Are there any codes of practice or like a professional body guide that designers have to like adhere to that you know of, or that you do anyway?
Do you mean like guidelines that they have to work to?
Yeah,
like
sort of guidelines that sort of everyone has to work to.
Design-wise,
Yeah.
I'd say no. Obviously, we work with clients and sometimes they have guidelines to work to, but each client is different, so each design is different. I would say no to that really, unless you're working with a big corporate company or something like that, in which case you'll have to go to their brand guidelines. But within the industry, are there any sort of particular guidelines you have to work to? No. Design is just a free thing.
Are there any design groups, if you know what I mean, that you or BriggsPriestley are a member of?
Not in particular, no. There are sign groups and stuff like that, but unfortunately, to be a member of that, they charge you thousands and thousands of pounds per year.
Does that sort of grant any like special status or any?
It does if you wanted to do big retail
benefits.
stuff. If you're doing big retail stuff, then yeah, like if you're doing McDonald's or Asda, you'll have to be part of these sign and industry practices. So I'd say we don't, because a lot of our stuff's more local.
Yeah.
So we don't be part of that. But there are design groups around. You can get them on LinkedIn or even Facebook, I think, where you can just join them and you can swap.
So there's sort of like unofficial ones that you can look at.
Yeah. If you go on LinkedIn, there's a lot on there. A lot of design groups on LinkedIn, which is like a professional Facebook.
Yeah, sort of where you can network and sort of get to know the
we get quite a lot of work off that. We're on there.
What are your key responsibilities as a designer to your client, in your opinion?
Right. As a designer, just to make them happy, basically. We always try and give them, if they give us a brief, we always try and give them 2 or 3 ideas, which again is not always cost effective to the job, but sometimes if you just plump for one thing, they might say, I don't like that, and you've kind of wasted your time. So I always try and give them 2 or 3
Yeah, you don't
options.
have to go back and redo an entire thing.
And even then, if I develop one idea, I might just change the fonts on a couple of ideas and say, look, which font do you like when I've developed that idea, and then I'll go on to the next stage to the finished bit. It's just about developing an initial idea, I suppose.
Have you ever had a situation in which the original brief that a client's given you has just been awful, and you've had to persuade them otherwise to sort of go through a different path with it, so to say?
All the time.
What have you had to do in order to like change their mind without just sort of going?
They sometimes.
Yeah, it's bad.
The thing is that everybody thinks they're a designer these days. So everybody's got a PC at home and they have PowerPoint or even in Word. I get things in Word. Say, look, I've done this design. I really like it. Can you do this for me? Number one, I can't print it from Word or PowerPoint because we have to have it at a certain resolution, and then it just looks naff. So I always try and persuade them to go down the more professional route and have it looking more professional and designed properly. So yeah, we do get that all the time.
How do you manage conflicting deadlines?
Hard, difficulty. As you know from being here, it's very difficult because we get jobs that are turned around in a day, and we could have had jobs that have gone in for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So sometimes they just keep getting put back, but you just got to shuffle your workload around all the time and try and hit as many deadlines as you can. But I always keep in contact with the customer. If they're going to be late, I ring them. So basically, it's just try to keep everybody happy at the same time, which is, as you know from being here, very difficult. How
do you stay within your client's budget? How do you like make sure that you stay within their sort of £50 budget, for example?
We always quote first. They've always got to be aware of how much they're going to be paying. If they say I've got £50 to spend, they get a £50 job. I don't spend as much time as I'd like on it, but they get the job they want and that's it. But if they say I've got £400 to spend, then they get a £400 job. Or sometimes you can quote it and do it quicker than you thought, in which case jobs are good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we always ask how much they want to spend, or we always give them a quote and then work to that.
How do you respect a client's confidentiality? For example, like if a sandwich shop opens up and you're asked to do the designs for it, but you also have a friend who owns a deli in the area, you know, you couldn't just go and say, "Oh look, there's competition opening up."
We just don't say anything.
Just yeah.
We had it's like the college rebrand that was under wraps for a good 6 months before we actually put the signs up. We weren't allowed to say anything. You just have to respect the confidentiality, because at the end of the day they're your customer and you've got to do what they say.
How do you ensure that you avoid using potentially discriminatory images or messages?
Common sense.
Very good answer.
I just know. I'd never do anything to offend anybody. Yeah. We're not in that business really. A lot of our stuff's quite simple. It's a shop fascia, or I think if you're in advertising or something like that, and you are meant to kind of be controversial, then you can be like that. But that's not how we are really. You see what we do. We do signs and graphics and stuff for local businesses. It's not really a very controversial subject really. But we obviously, I would try never to offend the general public with our work.
Have you ever refused to take on a client's work?
Not really. Sometimes if somebody's obviously behind in paying us, if they've got an account and they're 2 years behind in paying us, we tend not to do their work first, because obviously when you've done a job we'd like paying for it. So
I mean,
at the end of the day, that's
what
makes
you're going to do your work then.
Yeah, but apart from that, I would say we generally take on anything unless it's come steaming drunk into the shop and offended our receptionist. In which case, we
I wouldn't expect them to get the business really.
No.